Hello, Science Alliance. Hello, it's lesson 4 of flight, and we're going to make this thing. We're going to make this thing. We're going to discuss what it is. We're going to discuss the difference between flying and gliding. Hopefully we're going to learn about some cool animals. I'm a bit nervous because I have to talk you through this, and you know me, I don't like talking people through crafts. I always panic that I'm going too fast or too slow, but let's get started. And if it is too fast, obviously this is on YouTube, so you can just keep pausing it if you want to watch it on catch up. Get a piece of A4 paper, get the long edges and fold them together. So you might be thinking, oh yeah, I know how to make a paper aeroplane. Don't get ahead of me. You might not know how to make this paper aeroplane. This is apparently, well, it's not apparently because I've made it loads of times now and it's amazing. It's a kind of new improved paper aeroplane using an origami fold. So open up your piece of paper, so you've just got one long crease in the middle. And then you do the standard thing you do if you've ever... Don't do anything more than that, because then it starts to change. This is where people got a little bit shouty on Facebook with me yesterday. But it's okay, because if you think I've gone too slow, I will keep stopping and then just holding it up so you can copy me. Okay, so I'm just going to hold it there. You've just got a piece of paper with the corners folded down to the middle, so you've got this like triangle shape at the top, okay? Right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little sort of quiz. I'm just going to show you 11 animals, and I just want you to say just can they fly or not, okay? So if you've got the printout from my Facebook group, don't circle the words because we're going to come back to this. I'm going to ask you again in a bit when we've learned some stuff and then see if your answers are like better. But first of all, if you've got the sheet, I just want you to put a tiny little cross or a tiny little tick next to the animal. So tick if you think it can fly, cross if you don't think it can fly. If you haven't got the worksheets, you're not on Facebook, good for you, frankly. Don't worry about it. You could just do cross tick like in a row, and then you'll know when we go back again, you'll know what you said, okay? Right, so if you've all done that, I'll show you just before we do the quiz. I'll show you the next move. This is what you've got to do. Get the whole top triangle and fold it over like that. So you've got an envelope. This is when people on Facebook started shouting, "You're going too fast, you're going too fast!" Just get this top triangle and fold it over, okay? So fold a piece of paper lengthways, fold the top two corners so that it looks like you started to make a paper aeroplane. You've got this triangle shape at the top, and then fold the whole triangle over so you've got this envelope, okay? Are you okay with that while I do you my little quiz? Right, here we go. A lot of people watching live, and I don't want to panic them. Can it fly? So for each animal, obviously in science, you've got to be quite specific, right? So for flying, we'll say if it could get from the ground onto an object that was a few times taller than its body, okay? So could an ant fly like onto a nut? Could a bird fly sort of onto the top of a small tree? We'll say that counts as flying. Here we go. Animal number 1. Your flying squirrel. Look at it. It's the best photo I could get. I mean, really, the fact that someone was there to take a picture of a squirrel flying is quite cool. Can a flying squirrel fly? Just a little tick next to your piece of paper or on your piece of paper if you think it can, and a little tiny cross if you don't think it can. So that's number 1. Number 2, a flying fish. Can a flying fish fly? What a thing. I think this is a photo. Thank you, Wikimedia Commons, for this royalty-free image. I think it's a photo, not a drawing. But can a flying fish fly? Here's another picture because I can't get over them. Look at that. It's a fish with wings. But can it fly? Number 3, chickens. Can chickens fly? Just a little tick or a cross. Number 4, the Drago lizard. The Drago lizard, this is, well, what is it? It's a lizard. It's got a very, very, very long tail. And it's basically got wings. It sort of looks like a kite. It looks like a kite that has been made from a lizard. It's got this very, very wide membrane stretching all the way along its arms to its knees. But can it fly? It's definitely in the air in this picture. The paradise flying snake. Can the paradise flying snake fly? Can it actually fly, though? Can it fly? Put a little tick or a cross. Number 6. Penguins. Can penguins fly? What do you reckon? Number 7. Can a Baird's tapir fly? Look at this thing. You ever heard of a Baird's tapir? Tapirs are from Costa Rica. They live in the rainforest of Costa Rica. I have seen one actually. I mean, it was asleep in some very dense jungle. I've seen the back of a Baird's tapir, but can it fly? Little tick or a cross, please. Number 8. Caribbean reef squid. What do you think? Yes or no? It's only a few centimetres long. It obviously looks massive here because it's very close to us. Number 9. Flying frog. Can a flying frog fly? I mean, it's got very big webbed feet. Could it use those as wings? So only 2 more to go. Number 10. Can bats fly? They're mammals, what? Can a bat fly? Number 10. And number 11. Can vultures fly? Can a vulture fly? Right. Well, hopefully you've got some little ticks or crosses, or at least you've come up with some ideas. And a little bit later on, when we've talked about forces and stuff, I'm hoping you can give me a few more details. But we need to press on with this thing. So you've got your start of a paper aeroplane that's been folded over to make a little envelope. The next thing you need to do, I'll just get mine straight. The next thing you've got to do, there's like the next 2 steps are a bit confusing and then it's fine again. You've got to just bend up the bottom of the triangle a few centimetres. You don't have to keep it there, but you just have to bend it so that you've got a crease in it. See? It's like a penguin. Oh. You get what I mean? So get the bottom of the triangle and then just fold it up. There we are. That's all you got to do. While you're doing that complicated manoeuvre, we need to start talking about forces. So some of you have done this with me before. Some of you haven't. A lot of you will have done it and then forgotten it. That's fine. I just want you can actually do it if you've finished making little penguin face. If you've got a pen or a pencil with you, just put it on a surface, sofa or carpet or table. Give it a very gentle push. It stops, right? It stops. You give it a gentle push, put it on a flat surface. You give it a push, it stops. My question to you is, why does it stop? Why, if you give a pen a gentle push, does it stop? I know that it is stopping. This is a law of physics. I don't even have to be in the room with you to know that it's stopping. Well, why is it stopping? While you're pondering that, let's do the next move. Okay, this is probably the most challenging move. So you've got this crease right in the middle of your piece of paper, and you've got now the crease where the beak is. In the middle, you can see where the 2 creases cross. That's where you need to be folding some stuff to. I'll put a dot so you can see it really clearly. There we go. So just on that crease where you've made the beak, right in the middle, that's where you need to fold the 2 top corners. This is definitely the most complicated bit. This is where people on YouTube, on Facebook started hammering the comments and telling me off. Okay, so you get the top corners again and you fold them down so that the top corners are touching that little dot. So it's not like before, you will have a little flat top there. That's totally fine. Well, it's supposed to be like that. It's good. I was saying, if anyone reads the comic Evil Emperor Penguin, I don't know if it's still in the Phoenix. It used to be in the Phoenix. You're kind of making Evil Emperor Penguin, like a penguin with a cloak on. Just looks evil. Evil Emperor Penguin is amazing. If you haven't seen that comic, look it up. But yeah, so you folded the top 2 corners down to where those creases cross. The crease cross. There you go. Right. So I was so sure of what some of you were going to say that I made a little PowerPoint slide about it, and people on Facebook did not let me down. I will hold that up again in a sec. Some of you will be saying the word friction. I was getting a lot of one-word answers on Facebook. Oh, because friction. Yeah, but what is friction though? What is friction? Why does it stop? Because it's quite easy, isn't it, to just say a word. But what does that word mean? You got a sort of vague answer? You might have no idea. I mean, that's good for me if you haven't. Someone on Facebook yesterday said something about, oh, it opposes the movement, which was a very good answer. They must have studied friction before. And yeah, that is right. Basically, the pen stops rolling because the table or the carpet or whatever you're rolling on pushes back. I know, it's weird, but the pen rolls along the table, and as the pen moves in that direction, the table pushes back in the opposite direction, which is why the pen eventually stops rolling. It seems strange. I'll show you again. I'll show you a little PowerPoint that I did. Hopefully you're okay with Evil Emperor Penguin. You've got this flat bit at the top. You've got the two top corners joined down to the middle there. Right, here we go. So the pencil stops because the table pushes against it. All right. So it pushes in the opposite direction to the direction that the pencil is moving in, and the force that opposes movement is called friction. This is a great physicsy sentence. Opposes movement. Okay, so this force always acts in the opposite direction to the way that movement is happening, and that force is called friction. All right. So my next question to you, while we're finishing off this paper thing, is: so why doesn't a car stop? Huh? Eh? A car has got an engine. Okay, the car's staying still. The engine gives the car a little push. The car starts moving. Why doesn't the car stop when the engine pushes the car? Is it? Why doesn't, when a car engine gives the car a push to get it started, why doesn't the car then stop? Are you done with Evil Emperor Penguin? Can we move on? Because I need to talk a bit more about friction, and then finally relate that to flying, because this lesson is supposed to be about gliders, and so far all we've done is origami Evil Penguin. Come on. Right, so imagine this, please. You push a ball. So hopefully, if you've seen the first lesson, you're okay with the fact that if you're pushing a ball, you're applying a force. A force is a push or a pull. So let's say your hand's on the left here, you push the ball to the right. So you're applying a force to the right, okay? And then the ball rolls along. And this is what for thousands of years, people didn't know this until Isaac Newton came along. When you take your hand off the ball, you're not pushing the ball anymore. So now there's no force acting in that direction anymore. The only force pushing on the ball once it starts rolling along is the table pushing back on it, the force of friction. So eventually, because of that force, the ball slows down and friction gets less and less, and eventually the ball stops. And we've looked at how once the ball stopped, there's no sort of sideways forces acting on the ball, so the forces on it are balanced, right? This is a really weird idea, okay? The Greeks, the very, very intelligent, hard-thinking Greeks, used to think that you push the pen or whatever, and if the pen's rolling, the force of your push must be somehow sort of hanging around on the pen. But that's not true. As soon as you take your hand off, there is no forwards pushing force on the pen. And that's why it stopped, because friction pushing back. I know, it's weird. So here's, finally, we get to the idea of flight and gliding. In the air, this is terrible, isn't it? You're balanced on a stack of very old business cards and a Play-Doh lid, which is not working. Let's swap the Play-Doh lid for a calculator. That's better. Yeah. That's professionalism. In the air, if you're flying through the air, the force of the air particles pushing back is called drag. So you can think of drag as being kind of like friction in the air. If something's flying through the air in one direction, the air particles are pushing on it in the opposite direction. So that force is called drag. If something can fly, like birds and planes, they produce a forwards pushing force to counteract drag, which is called thrust, okay? Did you get this about the car? So the reason that a car doesn't stop moving is because the engine keeps going, right? The engine keeps pushing it forwards all the time. If the car engine cuts out, then that forwards push stops, and the car does stop. So it's kind of the same with aeroplanes, birds, things that can fly. They've got this thrust. Obviously, an aeroplane's got an engine. Birds like flap their wings in a certain way, but they push forwards. And this is really important because we'll talk a lot about this next week. We've got a whole lesson next week just about wings and how they work. But if something is flying like that, it needs to have air moving underneath it. If air isn't moving underneath it, then it will stop flying. I mean, you probably know this, right? Can I interrupt this to say the next thing you need to do is push up Evil Emperor Penguin's beak. That's all you need to do. To kind of lock these flappy bits in place. Like that. Just gotta push up his beak, okay? That's the next thing you do. Here we go. I did write this on a PowerPoint. Yeah, so birds and planes have got this constant forwards pushing force. And this keeps air moving underneath their wings so that they can stay up. I've said much more on this next week. You ready for the cool special effect? Ooh, air moving under, so stays going forwards, flying. You've maybe never thought about this, but you almost certainly did actually know it. Like, you know, don't you, that if an aeroplane's flying along, if the aeroplane stops, if the aeroplane can't get air to move under its wings and it stops, then the aeroplane does fall out of the sky. A helicopter pushes down on air. If the rotors stop moving, then the helicopter falls down, right? If you've pushed up your little nose, now we've nearly finished basically. You just need to fold the whole thing in half and make the wings. You would think that you fold it inwards, but you don't, you fold it outwards, right? So fold it so that all Evil Emperor Penguinness is on the outside, like that. So you can still see the beak, okay? This little beak is the special origami fold because it kind of locks everything down, right? Like that. See? It's good, isn't it? Yeah, and then you can just make the wings if you like. But I'll finish thinking about thrust and drag while you get to there. Okay, yeah. So things that can fly have this thrust, this force called thrust. They've got drag, like air particles pushing into them, wanting them to stop if you like, and they've got thrust pushing them forwards, and that's how they carry on flying. Things that glide do not have this forwards thrust force. Here we go, back to our flying squirrel. Things that glide don't have a force pushing them forwards. They are not flying, they are falling with style. So something that glides, be it a human, say with a hang glider, or a gliding animal, yeah, they haven't got the forwards push. That's why things that glide, generally speaking, we'll talk about one example where they don't at the end, but they've basically just got to get up very high, and then they just fall with style. Like some of these gliding animals that we're about to look at, they can glide for like hundreds of meters, but it really is just falling very, very, very slowly. You all okay with this? I wasn't going to put this in the lesson, but someone asked me yesterday and said, is parachuting gliding? And I said, oh no, but I'm pretty sure I read while I was planning this lesson on a NASA website somewhere, that if you imagine that this is the ground, this is obviously straight down, and that's a line straight across. Oh, sorry, Wormy. And this is 90 degrees. I'm pretty sure I read, Wormy, you have a little rest, that if you imagine like 45 degrees to the, like that, then if it's in this bit, then it's a glider. And if it's in this bit, then it's parachuting. I think that's right. So parachuting things are falling sort of downwards, or maybe drifting slightly up to 45 degrees from the horizontal. But if you can get further than that, then you're gliding, right? So obviously if something wanted to glide a really, really long way, it would have to sort of have a really low angle like that. Is that all right? So that's interesting, isn't it? This is why I need Facebook, so that people can ask me questions. Right, let's make the wings and talk about what this thing is that you've got in your hand. And then we'll go through these little animals again. So yeah, basically just make the wings. You can start from halfway, I'll do you one that I made earlier. Start from halfway up the nose is a good place to start. So if that's your plane or whatever it is, then about halfway along this blunt nose, just fold that over at an angle. And you got your wings and you're ready to fly. It's worked so well. I'll make this one, because this is the one I've been doing in front of you, and then I'll just have a little fly. And you can do that too. I don't think the angle of the wings really matters. Obviously, you know, your day's your own. You might want to make a few, practice different wing angles, see which one works best. Apparently, if they nosedive, you need to slightly bend the wings up a bit at the back. And if they go up, you need to bend the wings down at the back. Right, let's try out this one that I just made in front of you. Oh yes, it flies too well. I can't show you because I haven't got a wide enough screen, but they really do fly exceptionally well. Ah, splendid. Someone, again on Facebook, because you guys are just incredibly imaginative, someone pointed out that if you bend the wings back a lot, probably going too fast because you've only just made yours probably, but if you really, really curl the wings at the back, you can make it go loop the loop. And you actually can. And someone else pointed out that it flies really well upside down. And it does. So have an experiment. Give yourself some super curly wings like that. Let's see if I can make that do a loop the loop in front of you while you're finishing yours off. No. Come on, maybe a little more force. No, you can try that at home. My question to you is, just while you're finishing yours off and giving it a test flight, what is it? Is it a glider or is it an aeroplane? Have you just made a paper glider or have you made a paper aeroplane? Oh, that wasn't bad. Well, okay, it was bad, but it was better. And why, please? Why? Not just one word answer. If you think it's a glider, why? If you think it's an aeroplane, why? Have you given me an answer? Yeah, it's a glider, isn't it? Why is it a glider? Why is it a glider? Give you a clue. Push a pen. Pen stops rolling. Push a glider with your hand. Glider forward. There's no forwards force acting on it, is there? It's got no thrust. So obviously when you push it, then you're applying a force to get it into the air. This is what happens with real gliders. Real gliders have to be attached to aeroplanes that do have thrust with like cables. They get dragged into the sky and then the cable is released and then the glider can fall very slowly to the ground. But yeah, there's no thrust. Once you let go of the glider, it just falls with style, basically. Yeah, I'm always saying that, oh, we should get Theatre of Science t-shirts. And then obviously I never do it. But every week I have a different idea. And this week, the thing I want on the Theatre of Science t-shirt is, actually it's paper glider. Actually it's paper glider. Anytime in your life you ever hear anyone now talk about a paper aeroplane, I just wanted to say, actually it's paper glider, like in that voice as well. They'll love it. They'll be so pleased with their new knowledge that you've given them. Actually it's paper glider. Right, so if you've answered this question, is it a paper aeroplane or a paper glider, and explain as much detail as you can, I would say it's a paper glider because it has no forwards thrust. If you want to go into loads of detail, you could say it has no thrust, so it can't keep air moving underneath its wings, and therefore like the force of drag slows it down and eventually it falls. Right, let's go back to our animals. New quiz. If you've got the worksheet, then I've put like glide or fly or neither, and you can just circle one this time. Or if you haven't got the worksheet, you can maybe just do it in your head. Do these things actually glide or fly? Let's be a little bit more specific now. Can it actually glide or can it actually fly or does it glide? For each animal, tell me please. Flying squirrel. Can this fly or can it glide, and why? 5, 4, what do you think? It flaps its little squirrel wings. 3, 2, 1. No, it glides, doesn't it? It glides from the tops of trees down to the ground, but it can't go the other way around. Flying fish. Can a flying fish fly? Here's the other picture. God, that is just brilliant. A fish with wings. It's got wings. Can it fly? 5, 4, 3, 2. No, a flying fish glides, but this is quite interesting actually. There's something, the tropical two-wing flying fish, which does flap its wings, but it doesn't fly yet. But we think maybe it's like on the cusp. Maybe it's going to evolve to fly. So it's obviously beneficial for fish to be able to leap out of the water to escape from predators. And yeah, scientists have observed this fish flapping its wings, but as far as they can observe, it doesn't yet generate any thrust. But if it keeps doing that, it might have babies, and then those babies that do flap their wings and get a little bit of thrust are more likely to survive, and then eventually you end up with a fish that can actually fly. I don't know. Watch this space. Let's come back in a few thousand years. Chickens. Yeah, chickens can fly. They can fly short distances. They can do what they need to do in the wild. I mean, obviously, it's awful, isn't it, in captivity? But in the wild, they only need to be able to fly into the trees to roost, to stay away from predators. So yeah, they can fly. The Drago lizard. What did you say for that one? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a glider, yeah. They move from tree to tree or down to the ground. So obviously it takes a lot less energy to glide than it does to fly. I mean, it doesn't take any energy to glide, does it? Like if you're falling, you're not using any energy. You just hold out your wings or whatever, and that's that. So it's a lot of animals have evolved to be able to glide because it's actually a very efficient way to travel. And also if you're being chased by a predator or something, it's obviously a very quick and easy way to get out of the tree or move from tree to tree, as long as the next tree is slightly lower than the first tree. Right. Paradise flying snake. 5, 4. This is 2 snakes in a zoo. It's a bit of a creepy picture, isn't it? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, the flying snake is a glider as well. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Because it's small, but it's got a lot of surface area. What it does is it wiggles very, very, very quickly from side to side and kind of opens out its ribs, I guess, so that there's as much snake as possible pushing down on the air, so the air pushes up and it falls very, very slowly. Yeah, it can go for a lot of meters, but it is a glider. You'll be noticing a pattern here. Have you ever heard the phrase, protest too much? Like if I said to you, did you eat my Kinder Bueno? And you said, no, of course not. No, why? I would never do that. What? Why would you even say that? That would be protesting too much, like you definitely did. Generally speaking, little sort of easy rule, if an animal has the word flying in front of it, it's probably can't fly. It's probably a glider. Penguins. Can penguins fly? I mean, like, no, they can't do either. They can't glide or fly. But people saying yesterday, and I don't think you're wrong, they can fly in water, can't they? They can fly just in stuff that is like thicker than air. So jury's out, but technically no, they can't fly in air. Beds, tapir. What do you think? 5, 4, 3, 2. What? No, it can't. Look at it. It can't fly. I just thought you would think that all this really specific species of animal I brought up could glide or fly, so I tried to fool you. 8, the Caribbean reef squid. Oh, now here's a good one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It probably flies. It took scientists a really long time to work this out, but it's actually probably the only animal that flies because it's jet propelled. So a marine biologist and her husband, who is also a biologist, happened to be in a boat on the ocean and see these squids flying. And obviously, because they knew what they were looking for, they were like, I think that's flying. I don't think that's gliding. They were saying it looked too active to be gliding. And enough scientists have observed it now. There's only like one picture apparently, because obviously, you know, you can't reach for a camera while the squid is in the air. But yeah, squids move around in the water by pushing water out of their bodies. Water pushes on the sea, so the sea pushes back and the squid moves in that direction. But they have been seen doing that out of the water, jet propelling themselves through the air. So probably the only jet propelled animal. It's a good quiz question if you ever need to write a quiz. The flying frog. See rule about animals that have flying in their name. 5, 4, 3, 2. Yeah, it's a glider. It glides from tree to tree, and it can fall very slowly using these membranes. Bats, can they fly? 5, 4, 3, 2. Yeah, they can fly, can't they? They're the only mammal that can truly fly. So obviously, like a flying squirrel is a mammal. not actually a flyer, it's a glider. So back to the only furry thing that gives milk to its babies that can actually generate thrust. And finally, vultures. Well, yeah, they can fly, but they can also do something else cool that we haven't talked about yet, that we will briefly talk about just before we finish the lesson. We haven't talked about soaring. Vultures can soar. So what is soaring? Well, some of you might have picked up on some things that I've said that sounded a little bit wrong. Because like a glider, a hang glider or a sort of big metal glider that looks a bit like an aeroplane, they don't just get into the sky and then fall slowly down. That would be a very boring trip. They can get higher, and so that's soaring. What soaring is, if you've been to my all ages weather lessons, we've talked a lot about this. We've talked about how air is, hanging out above Earth, lucky for us, and when air gets hot, when it's heated up, then the particles of air, they spread out and they rise up. So warm air rises, and these kind of pockets of warm air are called thermals, right? So what vultures do is they can fly, but they find these thermals, these rising pockets of air, and they just stick with those. Because obviously it uses a lot less energy, right? It takes a lot of energy to flap your wings and fly, but if you can just spread out your massive wings, that is why they move in circles, because they're sticking with the thermal in order to stay in the air but not use any energy. And it's the same with gliders, like human beings in gliders. If they know what the air's doing, they can find these like thermal pockets and curl round and round and round and go up indeed. Have loads of fun. There's even soaring that you can do when the air's moving sideways, but we won't talk about that one. So yes, things that can fly, like vultures, can also soar, and things that can only glide can also soar as well. Right, which is the end of the lesson. I've got 2 questions, just 2, just to see how much you've understood like the science that we've talked about today. So here we go. Let's see. And then, yeah, if you don't know this, maybe you're new, over on my Facebook page, whenever I'm live on YouTube, I always put a post saying, I'm live on YouTube. If you want to say hello, please say hello, because YouTube doesn't have comments. So if you want to go to find my YouTube channel, you can just find my Facebook page. Search State of Science Facebook, right? Go on Facebook. Search State of Science. Like my page while you're at it. And then leave me a nice comment, and I'll chat to you after this. Right. Here is a picture of a bird flying to the right, and there's an arrow pointing to the left. Which force, please, has been labelled on this diagram? Is it drag, is it weight, or is it thrust? Which force is that? So the bird's flying forwards, this arrow is pointing backwards. Is that force drag, or weight, or thrust? The answer is... it's drag. That's right. So thrust is in the forwards direction, pushing the bird forwards. Weight is obviously acting downwards. And yes, drag is acting backwards. Right. Next question. This ball has just been pushed to the right. So we've got a hand on the left, the ball is on the right, and the ball and the hand aren't touching each other. So the ball's moving away from the hand. Which forces are acting on the ball now? Is it A, the push and friction? Is it B, just friction? Or is it C, just the push? This was catching a few people out on Facebook. I was pleased to see. Well, I suppose I shouldn't be pleased, but, I do like it when I see you thinking. There was a lot of, oh, it's this one. Oh, no, it's this one. What forces are acting on the ball as it rolls along? The push and friction, or just the push? The answer is just friction. I know, right? Yeah, weird, because the hand isn't pushing on the ball anymore. It's not touching it, so it can't be. That is weird though, isn't it? Like I say, for thousands of years, very, very hard-thinking Greek people had thought that if you push something, the push is somehow hanging around on the thing, and that's why it's still moving forward. So if you didn't get that, that's because it's super weird, but, also very cool. Right. I'm going to go to my Facebook page and see if anyone has said hello to me. While I'm doing that, I'm going to quickly give you my ad because my ad is important. Oh, and in fact, actually, yeah, it's the last day of my deal today, so I feel a little bit more justified because it is a very good time to sign up if you have been thinking about supporting me. So how this works is, I'm just finding my Facebook page. how it works is, this is amazing business model. I haven't seen anyone else doing full time. I just teach everything for free. I've got an IGCSE lesson. I've got a Lego Storytime show, which doesn't have printouts. It's just like a chat and a Lego story about a certain topic. And I've got this lesson, and it's all free. The printouts for this lesson are free from my Facebook page and soon to be website. If you do my IGCSE physics lessons, there's even a homework sheet that I generate completely for free, and people just pay me if they want to, which I didn't think would work, but enough people are actually paying me that it is actually a job. So it's working really well, because for you, it's like £5 a month. If you go to my About section on YouTube and click the link to this website called Coffee, then you'll find it. You go to this website called Coffee, you sign up to support me with £5 a month, and then it's plenty of money for me because there's loads of you, but it's not very much money for you. And yeah, and I even send you nice things to say thank you very much for signing up, because obviously this job is the best job ever. Look at it. Of course it's the best job ever. So if you support me with £5 a month, you get sent this Theatre of Science magazine. This is my favourite past copy on mould. You get a free biodegradable, compostable plastic bag with it. Because I want you to be able to make this little tray at the back and grow some mould like I did, and then use the mould spotting guide to identify it, and then just compost the whole thing. There's a beautiful comic about the true discovery of penicillin, and how it wasn't really just one bloke who discovered penicillin in a useful way. There's a choose your own adventure quiz. You are a mould expert in a museum, but will you be fired or will you be promoted? You've got to make some decisions, and this is great, loads of comments. Yeah, and if you sign up with £6 a month, I'll send you that one, and I'll also send you the weeds issue, which is the latest issue. It's all about just the boring little green plants that peep out of our playing fields and footpaths, and how they're actually totally amazing. And it's got loads of quizzes. It's got a card game. It's got one of those cool like paper fortune tellers. Yeah, I really enjoyed writing that one. And a beautiful comic which my husband illustrates. Oh yeah, but, sorry, I know, you're waiting for me to say hi to you. Hello, Sam and Hope. First time we've joined a live lesson. Nice. Oh, hello, welcome. Sorry, I feel like I've been chatting a long time before I got to the comments. But yeah, I'm still doing this like Black Friday deal, but only if you're watching live, because it's this afternoon that I'm going to pack them all up. I'm doing this thing where I've got a few. Well, I've got a Christmas magazine. It's got like a Christmas tree spotting guide, and it's got a really big comic about like the Christmas truce in World War I. I'm really pleased with it, and I'm getting it reprinted. So if you sign up, like literally today, it's the only day, I know, proper ad. If you sign up today with £6 a month, I feel like one of those people on the perfume stall like on Oxford Street. I will send you, if you sign up with £6, send me £6 now, I'll send you the past magazine on mould, and the latest magazine on weeds, and the rainbow glasses, and some stickers, and like an explanation sheet that I usually send you. But I'll also send you the Christmas tree magazine. The only snag is you've got to wait a week to get all the stuff, because I've got to wait for the Christmas magazine to come back from the printers. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Like it's costing me at least £6 to send it to you. But obviously the idea is that you then keep supporting me with that amount of money per month, so that's my wages and that's my job. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a very good deal. You know, because it can be a good deal, because it's about your long-term support. Oh, Lana, you haven't got any snow. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rub it in that I've got snow. The car doesn't stop because the engine's push is greater than the push of the road. Oh, that's a good one. But it's not quite true, actually, no. I love it when you guys comment. No, Lana, the engine's push is greater than the push of the road to start it moving. But the reason, that is why it starts moving in the first place. And the reason that it continues moving is because it's like constantly pushing it along. Hello, Jay and Daisy and Daniel. Hello. Hello, Keegan and Caitlin. We think we spotted an altocumulus lenticulus. Oh, yeah. Talking about our weather lesson. That does look a little bit lenticular. Altocumulus lenticulus. Oh, that brings me back to like a game that we played in our clouds lesson. Hello, Bella and Mum. Dad's running errands. Yeah, a likely story. A likely story. See you in 3 years. Bella's dad. He's such a glorious porter. Hello, Robin and Hissy. You love Evil Emperor Penguin. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's good. Oh, hello, Ava and Will. We were in London. You were in London at the same time as me. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about how cool it would be to run into you, but you didn't. No. It would have been creepy if you had, because I was just like lurking around King's Cross Station, being in a conference centre. So you would have had to have been like proper stalking me and get past security. I'm sure you had a much better time than if you'd done that. Oh, your plane/glider worked, says Lana. Lana, could you allow me to say, actually it's paper glider. Actually it's paper glider. Abra and Arthur, hello. The force is drag, just friction. It's a glider because it doesn't flap its wings. Oh, nice. Yeah, that was a good thinking. I guess, kind of, yeah, because flapping its wings would generate thrust. But obviously an aeroplane flies, but it doesn't have to flap its wings. We will talk about wings next week. I went to the Hawk Conservancy and met lots of birds. Here are some photos of a vulture gliding towards me. Nice use of the word gliding. Wow. Oh my goodness. I love it. Oh, it's so good about home editing, isn't it? It's just like, every day I get an email from someone like, oh, that thing that we just learned 20 minutes ago, now I'm doing the thing. It's lovely how it all fits together. Oh my days. Right, Bella, you've put this on Facebook, so I'm wondering if I can show the photo. I'm just going to zoom in. I'm going to try not to get Bella's face in, but just show you this vulture because it's so cool. Look at the size of that! That's an actual vulture landing on a hand. I would be freaking out, but that's very cool. Looks a bit like a turkey, which is actually a good segue, because we're doing chicken versus turkeys in our Lego Storytime show in a few minutes. Yeah, in 45 minutes. Right, all comments. Slowly making my way through. There's Hissy, Evil Emperor Penguin, Abra and Arthur. Oh, hello, Sky and Evie. It's snowing in Devon. That's a weird sentence. Does it often snow in Devon? Oh yeah, here we go. Bella doesn't often get it. We would love Theory of Science t-shirts. Make sure they're adult sizes too. I know someone that has a printing business. Ooh. I see. Okay, cool. Oh, hello, Zach and Henry. Oh, Zach and Henry have been watching since like the dawn of time, haven't you? Hello. A video of the hawk. Amazing. Hello, Edmund. Good to see you. There's Arthur and Abra again. Oh, there's Grace and Hope. Wondering if they're going to be making paper aeroplanes. Oh, thanks, Tim. Actually, Tim, it's a paper glider. It's actually a paper glider, Tim. Ophelia and Imogen. Ready for Science Day. Hello, Suki and Arza and Eunice and Salah and Musa. Good to not see you, you know what I mean. It was there, wait. It was there about a year ago for the Considerate Cat storyline. Luna says, it was there about a year ago for the Considerate Cat storyline. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Evil Emperor Penguin in the Phoenix. It was there about a year ago. Awesome. Yeah, we stopped getting the Phoenix, actually. Big Beano fans in our house. But yeah, I do love Evil Emperor Penguin. We still buy the comics. Okay, right. Well, I guess I'll just check in, see if there's any new comments. And then I would better go, because of course... Do you want to actually see what Lego Storytime looks like? I gotta show you. I've got 45 minutes to reset Lego Storytime after yesterday, and this is what I'm looking at. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so probably better go. Probably better go. There's some beans there because IGCSE physics lesson. Yeah, I think I better go. Okay, let's just see. Oh, Abra and Arthur say the forces dry. Okay, right, good. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go sort this out. Thank you so much for coming, you lot. I'll see you very soon. Bye.